Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to the channel. In this one today, we're going to be ranking the best map on every single COD Zombies game. Not only will we be doing the Treyarch games, but we will also be doing the non-Treyarch games as well. We're going to be going in chronological order so that no one gets confused with anything that's coming up next. And before we start, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below if you want to see me do any other type of content. There's also going to be no special criteria for this list. It's pretty much just going to be my personal favorite maps for each game. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the first game. Now, the best map on World at War is going to VIDS. I don't think this one is much of an argument. Yes, you do have some good maps like Verrucht. Personally, Verrucht is really close for me as well. I love that as just a normal survival map. But when it comes to the best map on World at War, everyone will agree that it goes to VIDS. Now, with VIDS, it was the first map ever to introduce Pack-a-Punch, which was really huge for zombies in general during the time, and just for zombies right now as well. It also had one of the first Easter eggs ever. Granted, it was very limited for the time. There wasn't really too much you could do with the Flytrap Easter egg, and I would consider it to be the first real main quest Easter egg because they did bring it back into Black Ops 3 The Giant, which does bring us into why I think it's even better in later games as well, because you do have it in Black Ops 3 with the Giants, you do have it in Black Ops 1 with the remake on that map as well. It is one of the only maps that has been remade in almost every single Call of Duty game that it's been in. Overall, VIDS is just one of those maps that everyone can go back and play and just have a fun time on zombies. Nocturne Totem was way too slow during the time, so you can't really say that it's the best in terms of World at War maps. Shinonuma was just too boring and the mud was way too annoying. Yes, it did introduce some cool things as well, like the Wonderwaff, but I think without a doubt, everyone can agree that VIDS is not only one of the best maps of all time, but also the best map when it comes to World at War. So for that, VIDS is without a doubt the best map on World at War. Now for our next game, Black Ops 1, I do believe that the best map on this game is Call of the Dead. Now it's really close between Call of the Dead and Moon. Personally, I do really like Moon. The problem that I do have with it, however, is that it's way too annoying to play on for just casual gameplay. You have to constantly deal with the excavators, you have to constantly deal with the astronaut, and it just looks really bad. Now Call of the Dead doesn't really look too good either. When the fog rolls in, it doesn't really look like a stunning map at all, but compared to any other map that's pretty much on Black Ops 1, I would say it's definitely appealing to the eye. Not one of my favorites in terms of just looks, but it still is acceptable. Now, when it comes to gameplay features on this map, I do really love George Romero. I know a lot of people don't really like this guy at all, but for me personally, I think he adds a lot to the map. He rewards you greatly if you do ever end up killing him, and if you do the Easter egg, he rewards you even greatly again by giving you a free perk, a Wonderwaff. He encourages players to not camp all game, which is pretty positive in my outlook. I know some people like to just sit on the catwalk and camp on VIDS, but for me personally, I do like just Call of the Dead gameplay in general. I think it works really well with the features that they have on there. There's many ways that you can counteract George Romero just by using the scavenger and just damaging him out, or you can use the VR11 and he goes away for a round. I do also like this map when it comes to the Pack-a-Punch as well. You don't have to do that many steps to unlock the Pack-a-Punch on Call of the Dead. It just randomly moves around the map, so you don't have to do any extra work to set up. It's really good for casual players. They can have a fun time, and it's also really good for the hardcore players as well if you want to do the Easter egg, if you want to take down George Romero and try to get a perkaholic on the map. Really fun for both sides. So for that, Call of the Dead is by far the best map when it comes to Black Ops 1. Now moving into our next game, we have Black Ops 2. Now I think without a doubt, everyone would agree that the best map on Black Ops 2 hands down goes to Origins. Not only is it one of the best maps of all time, but it just outshines every other map in Black Ops 2. It's funny how Black Ops 2 has one of the best maps of all time, Origins, and also one of the worst maps of all time being Transit. With Origins, you have really good gameplay when it comes to the hardcore audience. If you want to do the Easter egg on the map, it's going to take you a while, but it's very rewarding because you do get the first cutscene that we ever had in Zombies. It is also one of the only maps to this day that people are still speedrunning on. It's the only map other than Shadows of Evil, I believe, that people are doing like large scale speedruns when it comes to Zombies. It is the best map for the hardcore audience because you also get phenomenal wonder weapons to go for high rounds. It was the first map to introduce the elemental weapons that we've seen throughout many COD games into the future. Origins was really the start when it came to the zombie storyline as well. People didn't really care too much back in the day. Not that it was interesting, it just wasn't appealing for most players, but with the Origins intro cutscene, it gave us an entirely new look when it comes to Zombies storyline as well. The only problem that I do have with Origins, however, is that it's not that appealing when it comes to the casual audience. If you're a casual player and you just want to play zombies to kill zombies, you're going to have a better time playing on Derice, Call of the Dead, any map pretty much on World at War. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a better time playing on, because Origins is just way too complex for the casual player. But without a doubt, it still is one of the best, especially when you compare it to other maps on Black Ops 2. It doesn't even stand close. So for that, Origins is definitely going to be coming in as our best map for Black Ops 2. Now moving into our first non-Treyarch Zombies game, we have Advanced Warfare. Now I didn't really play too much Advanced Warfare back in the day. I didn't really buy the game either. That's why I don't really have gameplay for it. But from what I do remember, I would say that the best map on Exo Zombies is Descent. It has a pretty fun wonder weapon to use. It was the Trident. It was pretty fun to use. I do also like some of the Easter egg steps as well. It was fun for everything that was on the map. Personally, I just don't care enough to rank anything from Advanced Warfare because I didn't really play enough of it, nor do I want to go back to play more. It's not that I hate Advanced Warfare a lot, I just don't care enough compared to the other games that we're going to talk about on this list. So for me, I'm just going to keep this one short and say that the best map from what I remember from Exo Zombies is going to Descent. I know Noah J put it at like the top 5 for best maps of all time. I don't know what he's thinking, what he's doing, but from what I remember, it was an okay map. So for that, it's going to be our best map for Advanced Warfare. Now next up we got Black Ops 3. Now with Black Ops 3, by far the best map that I would say is Horizon Drac. Now with Horizon Drac, it's very good for both the hardcore and casual players. Yes, you do also have some phenomenal maps like Shadows of Evil and Garad Krobi, but those maps lean more towards the hardcore audience rather than the casual audience, and Horizon Drac does definitely reach out to the casual audience because it is the #1 most bought DLC pack when it comes to Zombies content in general, minus Zombies Chronicles. There are arguably more people right now playing Horizon Drac than Shadows of Evil, watching more videos about Horizon Drac than Shadows of Evil. So for that, I do think Horizon Drac definitely deserves the best spot. It also has very similar things to Origins and Mob of the Dead, which are two phenomenal maps in general. It is the first map as well to also have a boss fight. I know Shadows of Evil had a boss fight, and a later map in Exo Zombies had a boss fight first as well. But for this one, I think it is the first boss fight that people actually got to know and do for both the casual side and the hardcore side, and that's kind of why I like this map in general. It's very good with everything that it does. Granted, it might not do everything perfect, but with everything on the map, like the map layouts, the mini bosses, the boss fights, the Easter egg, the weapons, everything is just great. This was the last map, I would say, where the community was kind of united all into one. This is when Z-House was going off. This is when other things in the Zombies community were going off. Everyone was making content as Zombies during this time because it was very good to just make bow tutorials or content related to Horizon Drac. Horizon Drac is always a map that I can come back and play with newer players. If I have a friend who's never played Zombies in their life and they want to try and do an Easter egg for the first time, I will always recommend them to play Horizon Drac because it's fun to do, it's easy to do, it's easy to follow as well. Horizon Drac doesn't do anything perfect in particular. When it comes to high rounds, I'd rather play Revelations. When it comes to doing hardcore Easter eggs, I'd rather play Garad Krobi. When it comes to playing with friends, I'd rather play Shadows of Evil. But when it comes to everything, I would rather play Horizon Drac. So for that, I do believe that it deserves our best map for Black Ops 3. Now moving into our next game, we have IW Zombies. Now the best map by far on IW Zombies is Zombies in Spaceland. This map gets overshadowed and is really underrated to the Zombies community because people don't like IW as a game in general. It's one of the most disliked videos on YouTube, so not many people are invested into IW or IW Zombies. So for that, I do completely understand. But when you do give this map a chance, you'll see that there's a lot of passion and effort that went into making this map. It's all about fun. It's all about getting both the casual and the hardcore audience into one map. There's so much you can do. There's so many different features that were added into this map as well. You have the elemental weapons when it comes to the wonder weapons, which is always solid to introduce into a map. You also have phenomenal arcade and roller coasters that you can play with. If you're just bored and you don't want to kill zombies, then you can use those. There's different ways that you can play on Zombies in Spaceland, which no other map in Zombies has ever done before. So for that, I do really appreciate this this map a lot. I know a lot of people in the zombies community give this map and this game a lot of flack, but if you do give a chance to Zombies in Spaceland, I would highly recommend it because it is by far one of the best zombies maps in zombies history. It is also just one of the best maps to play on IW. When it comes to the DLC season, fine, I get it. Some of the DLC maps like Beast from Beyond and Attack of the Radioactive Thing, those maps suck. But when it comes to just the on-disc map that you can buy straight away after downloading IW, Zombies in Spaceland is going to give you a lot of bang for the buck. So for that, I do believe that it is the best map when it comes to IW Zombies. Now moving into our next game, this is Sledgehammer's second attempt at trying to make a good zombies mode. And boy, did they do really well when it came to the first map, and it was looking promising with the Final Reich, and then they completely flopped and ruined it for the rest of the DLC season. Sucks to see, but when it comes to the best map on World War II Zombies, I would definitely say that it is the Final Reich. One big reason why is because of the notebook, the journal that you can use to follow along with the Easter egg for the casual audience, and then you can do the hardcore Easter egg as well if you're a hardcore player and you want to take it a step further and do a hardcore Easter egg that's harder to do than the casual Easter egg. This is one of the first maps, and I think only map in Zombies where we've seen 2 Easter egg main quests, which is really good. When it comes to the theme of World War II Zombies, I don't really like it that much. There's too much going on with the darkness side, and the jump scares are just stupid. But when it comes to actual gameplay features, World War II did nail the mark with some things like the point transfer system. I'm surprised this hasn't been seen in any other Zombies game. I like how you can press a button on your D-pad if you're playing on controller, or you can press a key on your keyboard if you're playing on PC, and you can instantly transfer points to anyone else playing on the map. I do love that a lot. When it comes to the Final Reich, they did some good things as well. They did introduce the elemental wonder weapons, which are the Tesla guns, which they're good, they're solid. It's just kind of annoying that every single map that non-Treyarch zombie developers have done has been a copy and paste of Origins to some extent with the elemental weapons and whatnot. When it came to this game, it wasn't really received too well, but the Tesla guns, they're fun, they're cool to use, I guess. Overall, with the Final Reich, it looked very promising and is actually a really good map. I would highly recommend people try it. If you do have World War II Zombies, go back and play it because it is genuinely a good, fun map. But when it comes to later in the DLC season, they kind of fell flat, and comparing the Final Reich to anything else in the DLC season is just kind of a joke. So for that, the Final Reich is hands down the best map on World War II Zombies. Now, after the disaster that was World War II Zombies, we had Black Ops 4, and by far the best map on Black Ops 4. Some of you might disagree with me, but it is Ancient Evil. Now, Ancient Evil is a really, really good map, and I know 9 is also a phenomenal map as well, and a lot of people like to say that 9 is the best map of all time, but I fully disagree. For me, I believe Ancient Evil has way better wonder weapons. It has a much better boss fight in my opinion as well. There are some things that 9 does better than Ancient Evil, but when it comes to just base gameplay in terms of zombies, I think Ancient Evil does a lot better as the best map of all time. And yes, to me personally, it is my favorite map of all time. I know that might sound a little bit shocking as well, but when it comes to Ancient Evil, there's just so many great things that I love about it. In my eyes, it is the closest we have ever gotten to a perfect zombies map. It has great wonder weapons, like I've already said before, and what makes these wonder weapons even better is that they're actually utilized for every step in the Easter egg as you go along. I like this a lot because in previous maps from both Treyarch and non-Treyarch zombies games, whichever map had a 4 elemental type wonder weapon system, you never really needed to upgrade every single wonder weapon. Now yes, with some maps like Origins, you do need to upgrade every single staff in order to finish the Easter egg, but you never use the staffs once you're done upgrading them. You usually upgrade all of them and then you stick with the lightning staff and you use the lightning staff for the rest of the game as you're doing the Easter egg. It's way different from Ancient Evil because on Ancient Evil, you do have a specific gauntlet that you get to use for a specific step. So for that, I do really appreciate Ancient Evil a lot. The boss fight is also a phenomenal spectacle. It's kind of similar to Gorod Krovi where you have 2 to boss fights, like on Gorod Krovi you had the dragon and then Nikolai. On this map you have a Pegasus and then Perseus, and I like how the boss fight arena is interactable. The platforms that you're standing on will close over time. It plays really well, it looks really well, and overall is personally my favorite map and is the best map for Black Ops 4. I just wish that more people would appreciate it as well. Now, coming right after Black Ops 4, we have Black Ops Cold War, and Sledgehammer was supposed to originally release this game, but they couldn't get along with Raven Software, so Treyarch had to step in and take control over the entire operation, which they did a pretty good job at trying to scrap everything back together. You can tell there's still some World War II aspects when the power is turned off on D Machine, but when it comes to the best map, I say Mauer der Toten is probably up there. It's one of the only original maps that we've seen since Gorod Krovi. It is also just a phenomenal map when it comes to the layouts, when it comes to the features that it has to offer. It takes some inspiration from previous maps like Die Rise, but then it adds more to it in a good way. Die Rise usually relied on verticality. That was like its main thing back in the day, in Black Ops 2 was the verticality aspect of Die Rise, and it was done horribly in Black Ops 2, but with Black Ops Cold War, with the new movement system, with the addition of zip lines, the verticality on this map actually works really well and flows well neatly with the Cold War systems. I also really like how they added in the Panzer and the Disciples. The Disciples can get a bit annoying into the later rounds, but overall they're not too hard to handle with, and the Wonder Weapon on this map is phenomenal. It's personally like a top 10 for me with this Wonder Weapon. I love the Cerberus. I love how you can get different variants from it. I love how you don't have to do an entire Easter egg quest to get those different variants. You can just pick them up from killing zombies. I do love that a lot. So only thing that I can complain about when it comes to Cold War zombies is the fact that the story is just not there. Like, you have the operator system, which kind of takes you out of the story of zombies that we all know and love, and they try to scrape it out from the disaster that was the Black Ops 4 storyline ending. They tried to save it with Black Ops Cold War, but they just couldn't. If the story was better on Mauer der Toten, I would honestly put it in like an S tier, an A tier map. But for me personally, it's kind of like a B tier, maybe like a low A tier. Overall, I would definitely say that it is the best map. It's better than D Machine. Firebase Z is pretty trash. And then when it comes to Forsaken, that map layout is just really, really bad as well. So in terms of just maps that are new, innovative, and fun to play on, I would definitely say that Mauer der Toten is the best in Black Ops Cold War.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, bro.
Now, I don't have any Vanguard gameplay. I didn't buy the game. I refuse to buy the game. From everything that I've seen, I just don't trust the way that Activision can handle zombies with Vanguard. Now, when it comes to the best map on Vanguard zombies, I would probably give it to Shinonuma Reborn. From what I've seen, it is actually really interesting. It's really fun to play around with. It looks cool. I love the way that the Wunderwaffe looks. I love how it's somewhat similar to the Cold War systems. It's the only map that has been remastered on that kind of system. So I do give it some props for that. The problem is that the bar was set so incredibly low for this map that when it slightly overpassed it, people were saying that it was a really good map, when in reality, it's just okay. I don't think it's up there with some of the best maps of all time. I don't even think it's a good map. For me, personally, I think it's just decent. Yet again, it's Shinonuma, so we've already seen all of it. They did have a new main quest. The steps, from what I've heard and saw, look cool, but with the ending reward, it just feels off, and they tried to like lean into more of the Chaos storyline, which just felt wrong because the Chaos storyline was supposed to be completely different from Ether. So the fact that they even tried to attempt to mix those two together just felt off in a way. But overall, I would say that the map is pretty decent. It's miles better compared to Terra Maledicta and Duran Fong, because those are just like crappy versions of Outbreak. The bar was set so incredibly low for this map and this game. All they had to do was just copy and paste Cold War pretty much, and then bring a couple new things, and they would have been fine. Everyone would have probably loved the game a lot more, probably would have said that it was a great game. But the fact that they couldn't even pass the bar when it's literally on the floor, it's just very disappointing to see, especially because Treyarch has been working night and day on zombies for like the past 4 or 5 years now. They helped when it came to Cold War, when it came to Black Ops 4, when it came to COD Mobile zombies, when it came to literally anything zombies related in the past 3 years ago. Treyarch's been there the entire time. and they're still there trying to work on zombies content. If Activision gave them the time, which it seems like they have with the break from Modern Warfare 2, I think zombies will be better in the future. Hopefully I'm right about that. But with Vanguard, yes, I guess the best map is Shinonuma Reborn, but the fact that a remaster of a mediocre map is the best map on an entire game, it just feels sad. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video for today. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, do all that so you already know what to do. Leave a comment down below if you want to see me do any other type of content. Check out the Comfy Cushion podcast as well. It is a podcast me and my friends do. We're probably going to switch it up, do more reaction content. Pretty much anything that you want to see IRL wise is going to be over there, so check that out. And yeah, I got nothing much else to say, so peace.